Story time on how I set my dog loose at the aviary. When I was little, I was unhealthily attached to my tiny evil chihuahua. His name was Bart, short for Bartholomew, and he was one mean dog. One morning, my family was like, let's go to the aviary. That sounds so fun. Like, we can look at all the birds. And I started throwing a fit. I said, I'm not going if Bartholomew isn't able to. And my parents were like, he can be alone for an hour. It's fine. No, it was not. And I sat on my floor and cried until they let me. So I took little Barty to the aviary, and they were like, actually, no dogs allowed. Well, consider me blind, deaf, and dumb, Helen Keller, because suddenly that was my service dog. So I was walking through the aviary, and the birds were so pretty. And Bart thought they looked delicious. There was a flamingo, and Bart jumped into its enclosure and started eating it. Well, like, biting its leg. And then I got banned from all aviaries ever. Ranking the ways I've gotten expelled. So I've gotten expelled more than 10 times, but I'm just going to do a top 10 list for the ease of everything. Okay, number 10 is kind of boring. I set a chihuahua off a leash and it started biting kids. I ranked this a 10 because I did it like 6 times. Number 9 would have to be starting a riot in the lunchroom when I was like 8. I ranked this 9 because like it really sucked and I feel bad for the lunch ladies now, but also they were kind of mean. So they kind of deserved it, so I don't feel bad. And I was like really young. Number 7, putting a scorpion on my teacher's chair. They didn't know this one was me for a really long time. I don't know how they were still able to suspend me for it. They suspended me like 3 years later. It's number 7 because it was really bad and my teacher had to be hospitalized, but I only got suspended. So technically this shouldn't even be on this list. Okay, number 6, bringing my baby sister to school in my book bag. This would have to be number 6 because I was also very young. I think I was 7 and like I got to have my sister with me. So it was kind of fun. Okay, number 5. Punching a kid in the face and breaking his nose. This would be ranked lower, but they decided on a very egregious punishment for this. What do you mean I was banned from the whole entire district? I had to move states. And the kid's family tried to sue us. Epic fail. How I got myself banned from one of the biggest stores in the country at 9 years old. So one day I was having a sleepover with my friend, and I went with her parents to the store. Her parents thought I was an angel, so this was really bad for them. At one point, her parents were just looking at groceries, and I got bored, so I walked off. They somehow didn't notice. And I found myself at the section with ovens, microwaves, everything like that. One of my friends had told me recently that if you microwaved an aluminum foil ball, it would make it smooth. And I wanted to see if it was true. I didn't know the dangers of foil and microwaves. So I quickly crossed the aisles to get some aluminum foil and went back. For whatever reason, they had a microwave demo. I don't know what good that could have done. So I rolled the aluminum up into a ball. So I put it in the microwave and it seemed good for a second. Like it looked great. It started smoothing out. Then this like 80-year-old woman working came up to me and started yelling at me. And I said, look, it's fine. It's doing great. And as soon as I said that, the microwave exploded. The lady actually fell and got a concussion. I somehow avoided the combustion, but I did not avoid the fines and the ban. Did anyone else have that one teacher that would just constantly post odd content on their public social media? So it was my first day at a new school. And what do you do after you meet someone? You search them up online. I always do that. And usually it will just lead to public record stuff. Nothing crazy. But I found one of my teacher's accounts and this woman posted so much. Like immediately I click on the profile and I'm blinded with multiple pictures posted in one day of chicken wings. Like the process of them being eaten. This was a history teacher. So I was like, maybe it's relevant. So the next few days in class, I'm listening. I'm like, maybe she'll mention chicken wings. No, this woman never mentioned chicken wings. So I go back to her page and the next day it's broccoli. It's pictures of broccoli being eaten. So obviously I was like, I need more context on this. I click on the post to look at the caption and they were so cryptic and odd. Like one literally said, watch your back before the giggle monster gets you. And I was like, there's no way this is my teacher. This has to be someone with the same name. So I go to investigate. I didn't even have to take long because 3 days prior, this woman posted a selfie, a normal selfie like this saying, have a great day, students. Are we not going to address your next posts? So I asked one of my classmates, I was like, have you seen her account? And they were like, oh yeah, bro, like she just does that. She deletes them after a while. Is this a social experiment? I will never be able to figure out the minds of people who don't like dogs. When I was younger, my parents owned a pet shop, and it was amazing. We mainly had dogs, some cats, whatever. And one day, we got this dog that was possibly the cutest thing ever seen. I named him Juice, and he was a Chihuahua. I loved Juice. I decided one day I would take him to school in my backpack. So, I get to homeroom, and I whip Juice out. And immediately, this one kid in my class starts freaking out. Keep in mind, we were like 8. And I said, "What's wrong?" And this kid just looks at me, crying, and goes, "He's gonna eat me! He's gonna eat me! Juice is about the size of your foot, boy." So I look at this kid and I went, okay, he's not gonna hurt you. He's my baby. And I don't know what flipped in my dog's brain when I said that, because Juice started freaking out and went to go bite the kid. Keep in mind, this dog had never had a reaction. And obviously the kid, already being scared of dogs, was freaked out, and I went, you just got a bad vibe. I'm a savage, you're average. Going to the Minecraft movie opening night might have been the worst mistake of my life. When I went to go see the Minecraft movie, I had no clue how busy it would be. I pulled into the parking lot to look for a spot to park in, and people were already parked on the sidewalks, when there were at least 20 open spaces still. So that immediately notified me that this theater would be crash out central. I walk into the theater, and the person selling tickets had a creeper hat on, and she was crying hysterically. I said, "Girl, what's wrong?" And she told me that someone snuck a chicken into the theater and it was running loose. And that since she was front counter, she was gonna get fired. I said, "Wow, I'm so sorry, I'll keep an eye out." But scan my tickets, went on my way. So I walk into my theater room, and this girl didn't tell me that there were 10 chickens on the loose. I had to parkour in real life. At this point, I don't know if I stepped on one of the chickens. And I love them, but frankly, I didn't care at that point. It was kind of survival of the fittest. I ran to my seat and sat down with my legs up. They had to bring a local farmer in to herd the chickens away. Safe to say, I did not see the movie that night. But I went the next morning, and there were a ton of old people, so. I don't know if anyone else had really weird elective classes during high school, but ours were horrible. 3 years ago, my school tried to start up an influencer class, and they hired this random guy to teach it. We didn't know him at first. But this guy was really mean, and he had a crazy ego. He claimed to be an influencer, so we figured he was going by a false name. We tried to take pictures of him and reverse image search them to no avail. But one day he was talking about one of the social medias he posts on, and it sounded really odd. It started sounding like he was being cryptic for a reason. So unfortunately, people started searching him up on more questionable websites. And one of my classmates found him on one of the questionable influencer websites. And he had over 1 million followers. So someone snitched him out to our school. My principal gave this long, detailed speech about how he had no clue. But something seemed fishy. I think that the school knew. But the guy ended up getting fired, and now he is doing better than ever. He has like 3 million followers on said website. And yeah, he's probably making a lot of money. I literally do not understand why people are in support of this ban. Like people say about security and whatnot. That was taken a long time ago. And that's been gone since I got a phone. And I know like America and China are ops or whatever, but like I don't care. Like I don't have anything to hide. Like, if they really need it, I owe them my information at this point. And, like, moving forward with that security aspect, I'm sorry, but every single website takes people's information, even if it's just a little bit. And these websites are owned by so many different countries. Countries for America, countries against America, countries chill with America. Like, the internet is just a data pool. Everything's available. Like, I'm sorry, TikTok is the only social media that I have not dealt with a data breach on. And what's even worse is people being like, yeah, there's a definite ban. No, there's not yet, guys. Y'all have been making me tweet. We still have hope. And I will keep that hope until the last second, y'all. But, if ban gets confirmed, let me know, like, some options that y'all have. Because I will keep being a menace till the end of time, regardless of where I am. Nothing is more entertaining than being on the private story of someone who cannot catch a break. Yesterday, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I'm gonna check my phone, why not? And I start going through people's stories. And some girl who I hardly know added me to her private story, and it's so bad. So at about 2:30 a.m., she posted her private story, "Guys, Oreo got loose." Who's Oreo? I don't know you. Is it a cat? Is it a dog? Is it a hamster? Is it a child? So I was being nonchalant. I just clicked through the story. I was like, maybe I'll get context. But I was blessed to be educated about a minute later when I refreshed the stories and she had already posted again. And it was a video of her on the streets in the middle of the night chasing a capybara. And she was screaming, "Come here! Get back here!" Is this Oreo? Was that Oreo? Why do you have a capybara and why did you name it Oreo? And I'm not kidding. This girl posted a 3-minute long video on her story of her chasing this animal and it kept slipping away. Finally, at the end, she gets it. And I was like, wow, this was an emotional roller coaster. I hope she's done for the night. I hope she can rest now. So I wake up the next morning, 8 a.m., she posted to her story, "Guys, Oreo's gone again." How are you storing it? How I rage baited my principal into not letting me get arrested. Freshman year, I was dealing with a lot of anger issues. And one day, I decided to take it out in the bathroom. I started stomping on the toilets and I stomped 2 of them into the ground. As soon as I did it though, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? That's horrible. I'm going to have to pay thousands of dollars. So I quickly fled the bathroom, but I forgot that my school had cameras. So later that day, I got called into the principal's office and my principal looked at me and she was like, "Hazy, why are the bathrooms in shambles?" I looked at her and I said, "I don't know what you mean, girl." And I told her, I said, "You can't prove it's me." But I accidentally left one of my folders by the toilet and it had my name on it. But I didn't want to take the blame still, so I said, "Oh no, that's someone pretending to be me." And then I gave her the name of one of my random classmates, someone that I'd never talked to before. So she calls classmate in, and the classmate looks at me like, "What's going on?" And I started wailing and crying, and I said, "She's the one who did it. She framed me. She's stupid, stupid." And then this girl got arrested because of me. She had to go to jail for 24 hours. My mind cannot comprehend people who are good at riding bikes. When I was little, I'd watch all my friends on their bikes, and I'd be like, wow, I want to try that. So I got a bike. And girl, as soon as I got on, I knew it was going to be a disaster. I got on, I couldn't even balance myself. I spent 10 days trying to learn how to balance myself on a bicycle. So immediately I started to resent bikes. But after learning how to balance, I started having a lot of fun. I was biking around my neighborhood. I was having the time of my life. Until that same day when I took a tumble. Nothing could have prepared me for how that felt. My bike just stopped working, and I got flung into a ditch. You know, I would have rather it hurt because I was covered in mud. And I was like, I hate biking. I hate biking. I'm never biking again. But for my friend's birthday party one year, she was like, "We're going to go biking." And you know, I had a fear of missing out. I didn't want to miss out. So I brought my bike. And I don't know why I kept testing my luck. I was riding along with all my friends. It was really cute. But you know, as soon as I was starting to like biking again, I had to fall. And my bike snapped in half. So I am convinced that bikes have it out for me and I do not like them.